Right, I see that.
Okay, now I'm going to have to share with everyone the link because we're live on my page, but we're not live on the Facebook group. So I apologize. For some reason, my permissions aren't working. It's just, you gotta love being live. Let's see. Let me just hurry and edit post.
Getting permission on your own account, right?
Yeah, right. It's my account, my Facebook group, and for some reason I can't get live. So
Yeah,
here is
that's
the
all right.
link.
I will sing a song while
Thank
Nikki
you.
does her technical background magic.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm not a good singer, but I don't know. Twinkle Twinkle, should we
I
try
know.
it? We'll do
It's more
that.
like the Jeopardy, like when will Nicole get this figured out?
Oh, there we go. That'll stress you out. Do 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 do.
I give up. You know what? I swear, I have lots of like I'm super wicked smart when it comes to like
I
text.
know you are.
But like when I
Hey,
try to go live every single time in this Facebook group, and I own it, I can't even go live. It's so frustrating. So this is live on my personal page. Hello, all
it's
my
live enough. It's all
and
the live.
family.
You know what it is? It's because the internet can't handle more live of Nikki B.
I guess
That's
not.
why they can
The
only handle this much. The world is not ready for all of
world,
it.
the universe is testing me. It happens every single day. And I'm losing my voice because I think somehow or another I felt stressed out about this meeting and I don't know why, but so glad everyone could join us. I just sent out the link on the Facebook group. So if any of your friends were like thinking that they were going to get in this, I just shared it inside the group to just join the Zoom. And then I will, of course, do the fun part, download, export, and post it in the Facebook group for replay for those that can't join us live. It's totally fine. I figure if they're not in there right now, they probably didn't see it was live anyhow. So really, really excited today. I just wanted to start off this meeting. Let me get all these people in that are just sitting here waiting in the waiting room. I wanted to start off this meeting today with a couple things. First and foremost, thanks so much for taking your time on a Friday morning. Okay, I know it's 9 a.m. in Mountain Time. I don't know, it's 11 o'clock, I guess, Eastern Time. You guys have already started your day. So I really want to give you guys time to do some Q&A at the very end. Totally fine if your cameras aren't working. Listen, we all have to get on screen in the morning. It's not super fun. But I really wanted to, first and foremost, thank everyone for the conversations that you're having inside of Real Estate Talk for Women. My goal has always been with that group to be a place of positivity, empowerment, encouragement. I want to hear the struggles and the stressors that everyone's having with this. And I wanted to say additionally that it's okay to be nervous, scared, worried, lost, to feel all of those things because we all found out about this the same time. I'm sure everyone got the text messages that I got or the emails that I got from friends or family going, are you going to be okay? Well, guess what? I'm going to be okay. Thank you. But we're going to be just fine. We're going to be just fine. So I'm really excited and I really am really grateful and I'm so, so, so proud. And I guess sometimes people say being proud isn't a good trait, but I really am proud of all of the women in the group. I've had maybe only a handful, maybe two negative comments that have come to my attention, which, you know what, it's okay. You know, they're entitled to their opinion. It's just my page and I can decide whether I'm going to leave it there or not. So I come from a place of we're going to get through this and we're going to navigate it. And I'm always going to share best tips and practices on how we're going to move forward. But the challenges that we're all facing, whether you're an individual agent, whether you're on a team, whether you're at a small boutique brokerage, you're at an average size brokerage, you're at a very large brokerage, like, the Remax, the Keller Williams, the EXP, whatever it is that you're at, we all are facing this together. Regardless of what brokerage you're at. So I know when I sent out the email that Michelle Sayward, my upper left, my awesomeness business partner and super, she is an advisor to me. She is a mentor to me. Lots of wisdom there. She's done more real estate business than I've ever done, and heads up a large team, which I'm super proud of her. But as I lean into listening to even their conversations, I'm hearing the fear and I'm hearing the stress. So that's really what we wanted to talk about today. So I'm going to take 2 seconds I'm going to give her more than 2 seconds. I'm going to let Michelle introduce herself because I wouldn't do her justice, but to just share with us a bit about her and some of her experience in the industry and where you come from and where you're at in the country.
Yes, thank you for having me on today. I appreciate it. Thank you. And it's funny, Nicole said that I'm a mentor to her. No, it's mutual. She has mentored me at 47 years old in the ways of some social media mistakes I was making. So I may have conversation with her about production, and so it's really an information exchange is what we do. So thank you for all that you pour into these ladies and that you have poured into me as well. So there's information that can be exchanged on both sides of the table. So I appreciate you for that. My name is Michelle Sayward, and I am just outside of Metro Detroit. And I met Nicole first and foremost at a real estate conference. And we spent time together in a house together that we rented. And literally, I think I was the person that was responsible for picking up at the airport because we landed at the same time. So
I drove with her.
which was not, she's still alive. So we got that going for us. She made it. And she drove with me in an unfamiliar land in California on some roads that I was definitely not familiar with. So we're alive. We made it.
Yeah.
And we made it through a few things actually thereafter, including we are going to be making it through this NAR shakeup stuff. So we will make it through lots of things together. I've been in business 24 years now this month. I got to start saying that differently.
You're dating yourself.
24 years in March. Yes. 24 years in real estate. Probably, I'm guessing like 2,500 transactions in my career, easy. I've been selling just right around 200 transactions a year for pushing a decade now, right around there. Last year I had a big shakeup and things retracted back, which included redoing my entire team and organization. So,
high five.
What's high five?
High five, we made it.
Yep, I've been through the down economy. I've been through shakeups. I've been through quite a lot. And, am here to share what I can with y'all today and offer maybe a different perspective on how we can see things. So thank you for having me.
Yes. No, thank you so much. When I sent it out, people were like, what business are you in? What brokerage are you with? Because I saw Michelle's with EXP and I'm like, well, I'm at EXP, but guess what? I'm at EXP. Before that, I was at KW for 8 years. I was at Remax for 4 years, and I was at a boutique brokerage for 4 years. I've been an individual agent, and I've been on a team, and I've been a team lead. So I kind of feel like I kind of definitely am like, I'm a blended mix. And like I said when I started, it doesn't matter what brokerage you're at. There's a season for brokerages, I believe. And at the end of the day, they're scrambling just as much as we are trying to figure out how to teach this and how to help you all navigate it. So I wanted to start off the discussion with just a couple things. And y'all know, don't look at my desktop because it's a mess, but I do have a couple slides that I want to start off with just to kind of explain a little bit about the way that I see this. And it's just a few slides, but I want to hit on some points. So I might make you a little bit dizzy when I go in and out of my screen, but y'all know, bear with me. I have good intentions. So let me just start off here if I can. There's our group.
Yeah, don't look at her screen.
I'm sorry.
Don't think that she works on things outside of just hosting these webinars. Don't think that Nikki possibly could be like everybody else in this whole wide world that's trying to get stuff done. And
yeah, you don't even know. Everyone's like, Nicole. I'm like, I know. It's hard to be me. It's rough. All right. So I really started off this conversation inside the group with disruptor versus disruptor. And if you're wondering what the heck I'm talking about, there is an actual difference, and how will you proceed is really what I wanted to kind of share today is kind of my overarching message. But first and foremost, for those of you who don't know who I am, because I always have new people on, I wanted to give a little insight. I have been a realtor also for 18 years. April 1st is my day, so it's coming up. It's March 22nd. I have 8 days to do 16 hours of CE credit. Don't worry, I'm gonna bang it out this weekend. I got this. I just am not one of those people. But I've been a team lead and I'm a mentor coach right now. And I've been a disruptor. I believe in my profession, in my lifetime. I've been a disruptor for 17 years. And I want you to really take into consideration the word disruptor when I'm going through this, because I feel like this is what makes me good at what I do. And I believe that that's probably why you're still here, and that's what's going to make you good as well. So let me just share. Let me get these people in here. Sorry about that. You can see they come in. So here we go. So disruptor versus disruptor. I'm going to do just a couple little teaching slides and then I'm done, I promise. But a disruptor with the OR is positive forces of change. That's what that definition means. Michelle needs to put her glasses on. I can see her squinting.
I'm good.
A powerful force for positive change that challenges conventional wisdom, breaks down barriers, and revolutionizes the way businesses operate. I feel like even before I even did real estate, before, if anyone knows what I did before, I was a nail technician. But I paved my way in the nail industry by being really good at fine-tuning my craft at being a sculptor, and then learning how to do nail art, which I was kind of headed up that in my industry, like in my city. That's what I kind of was known for, was my ability to create nails freehand. I didn't need to use tips like everyone did. And now that's gone away, right? So I was a disruptor early on in my career, and I feel like I've always had an entrepreneur mindset, which I believe everybody that becomes a realtor has that internal desire. Otherwise, we wouldn't put ourselves through this, right? But the ER, disruptor with an ER, is typically it's negative in terms of force of nature. So it's a person or thing that prevents something. So especially in a system or process or event from continuing as usual or as expected. So, it's interesting. There is a difference in the word, but I take it personally when I look back at my business and I think to myself, what am I doing today to reinvent myself every single day? What can I do different to teach you ladies how you can stand out in a crowd, how you can disrupt the noise on social media? That is probably something that I've figured out. And that's what I try to share with you is, how did you build a Facebook group of 62,000 people in 3.5 years? How do you do that? By being a disruptor. Okay, by teaching I just am who I am. Like, I am most authentic. This is exactly how it is. If you and I shared an Airbnb together, I'm just like this. That's Michelle. But I don't put on a persona for who I am. I don't pretend to be anything I'm not, and I don't overpromise and underdeliver, unless, like today, I don't have a link that works inside my Facebook group. But I really do. My best intentions are to be a disruptor in my real estate industry. So the question is, which one will you be? And that's the question I want to ask you today. Like, you have a choice. So those who question how things are done and test strategies, products, and services against the existing markets, that's going to be us. These are people who aren't afraid to find a new way of working to drive growth. That is going to be us. That's always going to be my motto inside of this Real Estate Talk for Women group, even before NAR even started. My mission vision statement for this group is to, what I said when I led in this meeting, is to empower, to support. And I'm going to be the difference in our industry, instead of tell you what you're not doing and tell you what you are doing wrong, but give you some examples of what you could be doing moving forward to find success. So these are potential opportunities in change. There are so many opportunities. When I heard about this rolling out, I immediately got a message from a friend that was like, oh my gosh, did you see this? And I said, yes. And thank goodness. I've been teaching these practices ever since I came into being a leader, into being a mentor, into being a team lead. I've been teaching these practices ever since we started this. So I'm really, really grateful that I have years under my belt that I can share with you how to do this. The second part is that those who seek the negativity, bad, or resistance to change, or operations and systems or processes, are going to be the ERs. And if you're looking for negativity, you're going to find it. You'll find what you're looking for no matter what. I don't care if it's people you hang out with. If you're looking for naysayers, you're going to find them. If you're looking for positive people, you're going to find them too. So it's on you as to kind of how you proceed forward. And next, I wanted to say how we choose to respond really is a choice. So we all have a choice each day as to what we're going to do. I keep hearing and I see posts, and I want to talk about this one-on-one with Michelle when I get out of my slides, but seeing the posts that are coming along and really discussing the negativity. I've had conversations with lots of people who have mentioned the negative comments, and in my mind, I got to tell you, it's a skill. It is an absolute skill to be able to flip it in your mind and say, I just don't even think like that. And if you've had a conversation with me in the last week, you know that I've said that right after you've said a negative comment, because I am protecting my mindset. I'm protecting how I'm moving forward. I know my beliefs and I know my desire to be successful, and I'm going to protect that to the core. I don't care if you're my best friend and you want to go toe to toe with me on this. I'll fight you to the death. That I am I'm a positive person for change, and I will always find the way to make myself be successful even if I fail at it 20 times, I'm totally fine with that. I'm in it to win it, and I hope you guys are too. So really taking to heart the change that we're seeing is just one more thing that we just have to adapt to, and it's going to be completely fine. But before I go and I step on my toes and I say, or other people's toes, sorry, I mess those things up all the time. My husband laughs at me. But before I step on other people's toes, I will never quote anything outside of what I know is absolutely been given to me in our profession. So I've created a QR code for you all here that if you haven't gone to the NAR president's updates, he does a video update as often as you can. Once you get in there, or if you are an NAR member, you're getting these emails anyways that are updating you what's going on. But for those of you who aren't a member, I wanted you to have a scan of the QR code so you could direct yourself to this site, and he literally has outlined all the minutes and what's going on, and they break it down, and you even get to hear from NAR's attorney about the compensation and about, I've heard rumors flying about the fact that they didn't, why didn't they just settle? They've got enough money, they could have just settled. Guess what? They tried. Okay, at least that's what the NAR president's saying, and that's all I have to go by. So I want you to really educate yourself about this. But it's interesting how there's two things, and they call them rules, two rules that have changed. And I'm using that word because that's what they're using, that prohibit the offer of compensation to be displayed on the MLS. Okay, fine. Guess what? The sellers was never there to begin with. Okay, great. We just evened the playing field, fine by me. And then second is the written agreements when representing a buyer. Does this pose some challenges? Yes, it can. Do they have things outlined yet for how this is going to move forward? One of the biggest controversial things that they're discussing, which I want to chat with Michelle about, is open houses. Like, that's going to be weird. They're going to have to find a way to make that okay. There's going to be a document. There's going to be a document that's going to be a blanket statement. But I can tell you in the very beginning in 2006, the way that I was taught from 2006 to 2010, the way that I learned real estate is if you can't get somebody to sign the buyer rep agreement, the buyer representation agreement, then you sign it, put at the top that you met with this person and you're going to be walking through the property. It's just an acknowledgement. And if they further didn't want to do that, no problem. I'm just going to write in for myself. I showed this client this property. Here's the address, because we have fiduciary obligations the minute we show a property called procuring cause. Okay. And we all know what procuring cause is, but that is a big deal when we're talking about commissions. So we've learned these strategies when we first got started in real estate, or at least I did. And now it's just really put things into play. So I wanted to make sure to really hit home heavy that go to your NAR if you're a member and dive in and subscribe to those updates, because that's the information you should be listening to. I haven't watched. So where I live in Utah, we have Channel 2 News, Channel 4, and Channel 5, and Channel 13. I haven't watched the news since 2008. I am not lying to you when I say that. I don't even own local channels. When I actually hear people have it on, I usually will walk out of the room, because I don't need to hear about the murders and the whatevers and the whatevers. I protect my mindset to the core. What I need to know, I know how to go get the information. I know how to get it direct. So if you're one of those people that has a hard time protecting your mindset, this is an opportunity for you to learn something from me, that just turn it off. Turn it off. Like, I can't even watch talk shows, or I can't watch reality shows, because they make me embarrassed for them. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm always telling my husband, change this channel. I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed by people. So anyways, so this isn't the first or the last change in our industry. I've got 2 more slides, I promise, and then we'll get into a discussion. But this isn't the first or the last change in our industry since 2006. I've been through the recession, through foreclosures, through short sales. I had no idea what a short sale was till I came into the industry. All of a sudden, bam, it's in my lap, and I got a new way I got to do business. I didn't know anything about, what was going on in the pandemic, although I did have my best business, my best year ever in real estate during the pandemic, when everything felt like it was chaotic and crazy. I don't care. I'm still doing business. I'm still working. And then there was a housing shortage crisis. It was literally a crisis, is what they were calling it. I went through that too. Interest rates skyrocketed to historical highs prior to I wasn't alive. Well, I was alive. I was a little girl. 1980.
Finally want chicken. We got chicken up the ears out of that.
Hi, Cindy Dunn. I love you. There we go. Let's see. So yeah, when I was a kid, my parents about lost, everything when the interest rates went to, what was it, 21% or something, 17%, something crazy. So anyways, I've been through that as well. And then commissions on both sides, buyer and seller, are no longer advertised. That's what's changed. And now an additional written document must be in place to transact real estate for realtors. Okay. So here's what I posted yesterday.
Well, I think it's our job. So no, it's not. I think it's not our first rodeo.
Here is a reel I created yesterday. I pinned it on my story. So if you and I aren't friends on Instagram, it's at @showup_Nikki B. But I literally took a cut out of my face and I actually have that sign because I did photos with this, but I just put compensation offer, bring your buyers. I mean, I'm not posting it on the MLS, advertisement on my personal page, so we're going to find ways around this is my point, is we're going to find ways that we can still advertise our commissions and the fact that we have compensation for a buyer. So I just want everyone to know that there's going to be other ways. There's going to be ways that we'll find it. Whether or not this is going to be legal, don't know. But for the moment, it's fine. So I'm going to go ahead and share it. But I just know that that's me. That's me. I'm going to find a way, and I'm going to give other people ideas on how to do this. But there have been many other disruptors with the ER that we haven't really ever discussed and that we haven't given highlight to because either the media didn't do it, we didn't really think that it was affecting us as a whole, but it absolutely did as an industry. And here are those. Cloud-based brokerages came into the marketplace. Talk about a disruptor, right? Brick and mortar offices plummeted. No longer do you have to be at a business. Do you know what that did to the real estate business economically for commercial? Like all of a sudden you don't need to have a brick and mortar and we can be in real estate and you don't have to go to an office if you don't want to. Changes. These are changes that have happened while we've had our real estate licenses. Meetings now take place virtually. Try to get a broker to get attendance into their brokerage to have a meeting and they'll have about 5 or 6 people sitting in their chairs and then they'll have 15 that are on Zoom. This is our new reality. This is a disruptor that's happened in our industry that's caused us to shift or change, which now the brokerage has had to shift and change as well. Social media marketing is dominating reach. You guys all know this, like the ones that have had a hard time getting online. I know exactly what you're talking about because I too had a hard time getting online. But this has been a disruptor in our market, but we have all had to adapt to this change and we are adapting still adapting, and we forever will be. Automation is introduced to small business owners. It's no longer on a corporate level. When you walk through let's see, who is good at this? Best Buy. Like I don't know, they're not even in business in my city anymore, but when you would walk into Best Buy, all of a sudden, immediately you would get a message in your inbox saying, hey, we have a coupon for you. It's like, how'd they know I was here? Geo-tracking, okay? So automation is now being in the forefront to realtors where now we are being able to access automation through our businesses, and it's trickled down into it's no longer just a corporate level. It's now on an individual, sole proprietor or a sole business owner level to where we're having to
Nope.
And then the last one is AI. It's in the forefront in our industry and it's gaining momentum, but I just want to leave you with this because I also know one more thing that happens all the time is people are like, AI is going to replace me. It's going to, you know what? The number one human need for people is relationships. It's the number one thing that people need. So if they want to interact with a computer automated face, great, perfect. But at the end of the day, the relationship is what is the number one human desire. And just remember that it's really, really difficult, as some other companies who shall remain nameless in my mouth, they failed. They failed at this. It didn't work. It didn't work because they needed to come back to the realtor, boots on the ground, people that are actually selling the real estate business. So I posted this reel and I wanted to share it with you. Kind of funny that this is so foreshadowing, but I did this, I don't even know, months, this is last spring, I think, but it must have been because I was in a hoodie, but.
Oh my God. Why?
But I think it's really kind of telling that like, it is just because you didn't have to. That's why you did it. But over here in my marketplace, we've been doing it for 2 to 3 years. It's always, well, the contract actually, but I've been teaching this for, 10 years, 12 years that I've been a mentor. So those are the slides that I have for you. I just really wanted to share with you just a few insightful things that maybe you haven't quite thought about, that while these couple changes seem like they're so big, take it down to just being personal and make it about you and about your business. Because really it's how you respond, and the person who responds, in a positive way and gets their clients on the same page are the ones that will win first. questions. I just think that that's really, really interesting. And I think there's such a difference. I'm always going to be the disruptor. I like being disruptor. I like it. Like I feed off of it. In fact, I use it as a driving force for my business on how can I serve my people in a better way that every other person in my market isn't doing it. And then how can I share it with you? You know, we all are individuals, and even if we do the exact same thing, everybody resonates with everybody differently. So I want to make sure I get to the chat right quick. I'm so bad at this part. 1988, thank you for that. I know, I never know what that is. How old was I? I was 13, I guess. Old enough, I guess I know. Yes, I want to show how I can do that. I'm not very good at that. Oh, there we go. There you go, Michelle. Michelle asked me if she can share an image, which I think is really great. I appreciate it.
Yeah. I just was like listening. I took notes on what you were saying here too. Like, I'm like, because I was looking at your first slide, disruptor with an OR, and I thought easy way to remember that. O is opportunity, right? It's O for opportunity and seeing that. And then the E, I'm like, maybe this is a little off the deep end, but I was like, evil. It takes you to the dark side. It takes
error, or I mean, there's a reason, 100%.
Right?
Like
Or
just
error in your thinking, right? There's like you said, there's just a lot of different ways to see the ER, but O is the opportunity in this. And I'll tell you the truth. Like when I first heard about the changes with the National Association of Realtors, my literally was at baggage claim when my plane landed, getting my bags. And I was like, oh God, and I saw social media just blowing up. And I thought, as a leader, should I be hosting this conversation and having this about what's going on? And I'm one of the ones that I'm glad that I didn't, because my brain immediately went to, oh no, ER, disruptor, negative. My brain did. Like, this is going to be a rock in my shoe that I did not expect. Like, oh God, here we go. Like my brain went right there. And why is it? It's a natural human tendency to think of the negative side of things first and what you're going to have to navigate or, think about and consider and do. And I'm so glad that me personally, I didn't go on social or talk about it at that moment, because my mind changed within 24 hours to an OR mindset and as an opportunity mindset. And to see, I just needed to hear a few other voices saying like, okay, here's another perspective. And the minute I had a couple other voices come my way, I was like, now I know what I'm selling. And I really wish I would have wore it. I said to our partner in common, Tina, I said, I know exactly what I'm doing now. I'm so excited. I did this during the down economy. In Detroit, it started in 2006 and it went through 2011. We're like the Marine Corps with the down economy, first in, last out. I see someone nodding your head. Yep, absolutely. It was rough. And I sold hope, HOPE that time. And I have a t-shirt, and Tina has it too. We both have the same shirt. I have a t-shirt that says Hope Dealer. And what am I selling? I'm selling hope. It's like hope to real estate agents. Y'all, thank you for having me on. As to what's on the other side of this mountain. What exactly are we looking at? I mean, that's what I did for homeowners to gain massive market share during the down economy, 6 through 11. When Nikki talks about she did short sales and she did these things that nobody wanted to do a short sale. A short sale, the longest one I had took 364 days to close. Nobody wanted to do bank owns in the winter with busted pipes and long johns under your suit, and no heated seats in my car back then. Nobody wanted to do those things when everything's frozen and busted and you're dealing with inspection issues beyond measure because these properties have been abandoned. I remember when kitchens were sold out of my listings on Craigslist.
yeah.
You remember that? Remember seeing a full kitchen available on Craigslist? And you're like, I'm under contract, and somebody went in and stole the freaking kitchen. Like, so you were just doing the best that you could to try to like navigate this stuff at the time. But what did that do? All the agents that said, this is a bigger cross than I want to bear, I'm tapping out, I'm bouncing out. Like that's what a lot of the real estate agents said at that time. And so guess what? We will lose some agents. And in my psychic predictions, I don't expect that to happen until next year. Because just like a typical real estate agent, and I'm one of them. Look, we changed our MLS here locally, and we had the opportunity to stay with our old MLS for a few more months or learn the new system. I'm like, just keep me with the old one for a little while. I got enough stuff going on. We will kick the can down the road and delay making any changes until it's urgent, necessary, and critical to our business. So unfortunately, I don't believe this thing with NAR is the same thing as me learning the new MLS system that we have here. I think it's much more critical. But we as real estate agents have a tendency to kick the can down the road and just wait until it's urgent before we take action. And so I think, with this, if you're going to be the proactive one, and like Nikki said, you're going to learn what's required, learn about the new changes, because we all are in this together. No real estate agent has superior information over another. No real estate brokerage has superior information over another. So do not be fooled with, people saying, oh, I know exactly the new updates. If you are connected and you are plugged in yourself, you will get those resources. Like Nikki said, you know where to go to get that information, right? You can tune in right here, and Nikki will be giving you the updated, accurate information in a timely fashion coming from NAR. It's not going to come from clickbait news media. Oh my God, if you've seen some of this garbage. Real estate commissions have gone away. That was like the headline on one of them.
For sellers.
Right? It's
Wow.
terrible. But if you can keep your head on straight and you can keep moving forward in this, I promise this is such an opportunity, as it was for me during the down economy, to gain market share. If you are willing to do and behave the way that most other real estate agents are not willing to do and behave, you will have your lion's share of the business coming to you as a result. Why? What is this National Association of Realtors forcing us to do right now? It's the same thing it forced us to do during the down economy. It forced us to be a professional in the business. It forced us to, during the down economy, we had to learn, what is a short sale? What is a foreclosure? How does it function? How does it work? How do you navigate some of these challenges with job loss? And, how do you have these conversations with seller? How do you price property so that you're actually selling these properties and they're not just sitting on the market for the whole time? Like, what messaging do I need to give to the public so that I can continue to thrive and win? Guess what we're doing right now? We're changing our messaging that was sloppy to the public so that we can figure out how we're going to win, right? It's the same thing. And face it, we have been sloppy with buyers for a long, long, long time. A long time. We have been so sloppy. You sit down, we sit down, I sit down with a seller, and we say, here's our marketing package, and here's the information, and here's what to expect, right? And here's
what I'm going to do for you.
And here's what I'm going to do for you. And what do we do for buyers? We meet them at an open house and we go, you know what? Yeah, I'll pop you over there and we can take a look. You don't take the same amount of time and care with a buyer that you do with a seller, but it should be equally as valuable and equally as important. At the end of the day, people deserve the same respect. It doesn't matter if they're buying or selling. They deserve that same knowledge. They deserve to know what to expect. They deserve to know what you're going to do as a real estate agent. I love the idea that we as real estate agents now need to create our, buyer portfolio, our buyer resume, showing our value to buyers, to keep them engaged with us along the process. And when you start to do that at a high level, you're going to be gaining clients at a high level. People are going to say, and I'm picking on Sandy here because she's got her screen on. Thank you. They're going to say like, oh my God, do you know how Sandy treated me as a buyer? Like, she really took her time with me. She really walked me through the process. I really understood what value Sandy was bringing. Sandy has a great track record. You're building your resume that you're sharing with people. So
on that note, Michelle, I wanted to add to that.
It's
so
huge.
what's interesting too about the buy side is I'm hearing a ton of conversation around, and I'm seeing real estate agents post this, which really just hurts my heart a little bit, because as a team owner, I have agents who do both, but they predominantly did buy sides. Okay. And they're getting on saying, you know, now is the time you better diversify. You better start working with sellers. Listen, if I've built a career off buyer agents. I mean, I sold 48 sites in 1 year, you know, on a team. And so if you think I don't know how to hustle, I know how to hustle. And I love my buyers. I freaking love them. And they loved me back. And now they're my sellers, right? But at the end of the day, if you're counseling your buyers, your buyer agents, because now what are you going to say to them? Now, what are you going to say to them? But here's what I'm going to tell you as a buyer's agent. I feel like this is a huge opportunity for you because this is what I've done for years is I have that presentation. I have
Yep.
that process.
Right.
Like, listen, when you meet with me as a buyer, if you think I'm running out to the house to go open it, have any of my buyers that have bought from me, because I'm now on my personal page, we meet at my office. I am a professional. I conduct a professional appointment. We're meeting at the office. We'll go through the properties that you want to look at. And then guess what? We have a conversation about the buyer representation agreement. We're signing a representation agreement before we head on out to the house. Why? Because I'm liable the moment that I open that door, regardless of the NAR stipulation that's not in place until July. I still am liable when I walk them through that door. And I have a fiduciary obligation to treat them with all of the things that I promised I would do when I signed up for that license. So it's
Right.
almost like this amazing thing that just happened, which I'm really, really grateful for, because it's just going to make us so much better as an industry as a whole. And if I was a buyer agent right now, and I know lots of women on this in my group are buyer agents and solely on teams. You want to know what you do to succeed as a buyer agent and continue being a buyer agent? You get so freaking good at your presentation and you go and you dominate your market. This is an opportunity as a buyer's agent to absolutely dominate as a buyer's agent. Because I promise I'd put my presentation up to anybody's. You know, I just know the process. I know the skill sets that you need. And it's the exact same as the listing side. If you're heavy on the listings, then you just flip it for buy side and start, you know, create the same checklist that you have for your listing side. If everyone doesn't have a buyer presentation, take your listing presentation and now flip it for the buy side and go figure out what your value add is being a buyer's agent. This is not difficult. This is not hard to maneuver. It just means you just have to learn another presentation and you have to practice, which is what role playing is, which is what script practice is. You don't have somebody call me, I'll look at your presentation. Like, I'm not too busy. You know, I want to see what it is and how I can best help you, you know. But at the end of the day, our job is to serve our people. And it's about customer service. And I always tell my people, I want you to think about this, not getting a buyer representation agreement is giving poor customer service.
Mhm.
Because there's no, this is what I'm going to do for you and hold your feet to the fire. In turn, this is what you're going to do for me. You're going to show up, you're going to sign my documents in a timely fashion, right? Time is of the essence. We all know the buyer rep agreement, but by not giving them a proper presentation is poor customer service. And I'm 100% guaranteed that the people on this call pride themselves in the customer service that they give their clients because they absolutely care to the core. I know they do. They've got families to feed. They have houses to, you know, uphold. They've got parents that they've got to take care of. They have responsibilities and they know what their value is and they know why they do or why they got into the business. And so not doing these things is not giving them the best of you and the best customer service that you can.
Yeah.
Such a different perspective. And once you see that, you think to yourself, how can I be better? Like, how can I just do better every day? How can I just be just a bit better and provide a better service for my people? And then lean into that. And then, you know, and you'll always find success. You always will. I love it.
I love what Lisa typed in the chat. The best thing is to absorb this information before reacting. Yeah, like I said, okay, I postponed learning the MLS. Why? I did. Okay, fine. I'm a normal real estate agent. I got other fish to fry at the moment that's going to make me money. But this learning what to say and not reacting, this is something that will make you money. So this is a priority thing to start to learn the scripts and skills and conversation as we go. Right now, we can only hypothesize, right? Because the only instruction that we have is, you know, that, okay, we can't put this stuff in the MLS. And as Nikki said, and I'm sharing this with you guys real quick, there's going to be other creative ways that we get around this, right? If you can see the screen, I know a lot of people are driving, but it's like minute listing description in the MLS is this capital THREE, bedroom home, will be the perfect capital PER for you, as it has CENT been updated. So you see in bold capital letters, 3%. The way that's all in capital
I
letters.
was busting a gut when I saw this. I'm like, oh my gosh. Like, it will be interesting to see what they do. Like, it will be really interesting. But I thought this was hilarious. I was laughing out loud. I'm like, oh my gosh, screenshots.
This is brilliant. So at the end of the day, look, we are creative, we are intelligent, we will find ways, right? There may be a point in time intermittently where you're getting more text messages than you can handle coming from Donna and Cindy and Stacy and every real estate agent in town saying, hey, Nicole, are you cooperating on this listing? Are you cooperating? How much? How much? How much? How much? And you're going to probably be like the movie theaters in the 1980s, if you remember calling and saying, if you're calling about Riverdale Street, 3%. If you're calling about Holtz Drive, 2.5%. If you're calling about, right? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
So that might be your voice message recording for a little
Well, and
while.
I think that also brings up another great question. Like, that's going to be interesting to see if the way that rolls out, because is it going to be in our best interest to let people know what the cooperation amount is? I think for me, it would just be letting people know that, yes, we are cooperating. Sorry, my screen.
Yeah.
Yes, we cooperate. Send us an offer and we'll go ahead and let you know what that is. You know what I mean? Because that's all negotiable now. Like, it's all negotiable, except for obviously what has been signed on the rep sheet. But if an offer comes over at 2.5% and they agreed to pay up to 3% on cooperation, great. It came in at 2.5%. Guess what my seller thinks of me? That I'm amazing because I just saved him 0.5%. That doesn't mean that I get to keep the 0.5%, sillies. That means that I saved him 0.5% because of my amazing marketing and letting him know that I cooperate. Because I cooperate, we're willing to pay. We'll see how it rolls out, right?
We'll see how it rolls out.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you mentioned at the beginning of this, we're going to see how it rolls out. Like, we're really focused on buyers. And I think at this point we're clear. Get your agency signed, get that done. You know what I mean? But the seller side, people are, I had one this week, and actually a guy on my team had one this week too. You walk into a listing appointment and there's news buzz about, what is this? Realtor commissions are free now? What's happened? You're like, it's just a derailment when you walk in the door. You're like, this is a past client of mine. I thought this was going to be a lay down listing appointment, and now suddenly I'm having this conversation. And I have another one. Oh God, I want to share this one now. I'll give me a second.
It went really well too, though. The end of that one went well. You explained.
Yeah, it did go well. I just had one this week, and thank God it was a referral. Actually, I'm going to put this in the screen share. Let me do this.
Okay. Yeah.
I have another one for you guys. This is exactly how. Hang on. Oh, now you're going to judge me on my screens. Hang on. Let me find it here. I just dropped it. This is a conversation I had. Where'd it go? Come on now. I just had this conversation. Can I not find it? Oh, wait, there it is. I just had this conversation with my seller the other day. She's like, okay, how does this impact me? And what does this look like? And right. And she's like, tell me, what is all this? Can you see my screen here?
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, I saw that too.
Okay, let me make this bigger. It's a joke. But all right. So sellers are not required to offer compensation. And then it's like, this is literally what I explained to them. I said, the judgment on this side of it is the silliest thing that you've ever heard in your life. I said, there are many states, unlike Michigan, where it's not clear. This is what the lawsuit was the origination of, right? The origination was that the seller would sign a listing contract, and in many contracts across the United States, it would say, this is the percentage that the listing agent is charging you, 5, 6, 7, whatever it is, right? This is the percentage that we're charging. And then the real estate agent would go back to the office and they would offer out 3, 2.5, 3.5, whatever they did, right? For a buyer's agent to negotiate against them, unbeknownst to the seller.
Yes.
That the seller was not clear that they were sharing the compensation with the opposing side, the buy side, right? And so it's like, so I had this conversation with the seller. I said, look, in Michigan, we've always had that as part of our contract. Total commission is, offering amount out is. That's how it reads on our contract. We've always done it that way. And so I said, so the only difference is going to be we can't publicly advertise what the offer out amount is going to be until July. You will be long sold before July. This will be done. This should not affect you in any way, shape, or form. But don't worry, we as real estate agents are going to get very creative in July about how to make that information, clear during an offer. So we can do one of two things, come July, if we're pushing past July. We can agree to offer out fair compensation, which is what, for those of you that have your screen off or are driving, the choice is yours. After July, you do not need to offer out fair compensation to a buyer's agent. You can check a box here, which will bring attention to the most amount of buyers to the property and give the property the best chance to be sold for the highest price in the least amount of time by exposing my property to the most amount of people. Or no, you don't need to do this. Like, yes, I do want to offer commission rather, or no, you don't. And I would prefer to exclude thousands of potential buyers from selling my property by excluding buyer's agents who are unwilling to work for free, who have buyers that are unwilling and unable to pay a buyer's agent fee out of pocket, resulting in less exposure to my property. So Keith Pike, who is a brilliant real estate guru in our industry, created this post, and I just screenshotted it to use on the, to empower myself during seller listing appointments right now, explaining that, look, right now, nothing's changing until July, but come July, be clear. Real estate agents are not going to work for free, and buyer's agents are still very uncomfortable not being represented. My cousin just hired me this week. She had a family member that wanted to buy her condo, and she said, I'm in over my head. I need you to come in and represent me, even though I'm selling to a family member, right? There's too much at risk right now to not behave with, clear standards and what exactly that they're getting. So those are my little, funny bits, I hope, but that will drive home the point that the conversation's not going to change until July, and then you're going to have clear, guidelines as we move closer.
Well, and I think that only just even shows even more so how important it is that we get a good definition of how things are going to roll out. We sell millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of real estate. I had a couple of questions, and someone asked me in my group to kind of hit on a few of these questions that were brought up to me. Some of the panic things that were come up was like, well, what will my investors think? My investors, what will they think? They want to usually save the most amount of money. And Michelle, I shared this with you the other day. I think that that's a really interesting spin, because I told you immediately in my head, I'm thinking to myself, are you kidding me? Like, for me, my investors want to work with me. I've made them millions of dollars. I've turned their 1.2 million into $3.5 or $4 million. I promise you, they want to know what investment properties I recommend, because I've done such a great job prior to that. They're going to be okay with it, because they understand that, listen, you may have to pay an agent commission, but at the end of the day, I'm making you millions. And I can make my numbers work to show that it's still going to be a profitable property, even if you have to pay my commission. Totally fine. And they know, like, and recognize and trust the fact that I've led them in a direction in a positive way before. So you just lean into past performance, and if you're brand new to the business, here's the great thing that I'm so glad I remembered this point. If you're a brand new real estate agent and you're coming into this business and you're freaking out because other real estate agents are freaking out, I'm so excited for you to come into the business right now, because you're not going to know any other way than this. You're not going to know anything else but this. Where those of us that have been in it for a long time, yes, we can lean into our experiences, but as a new agent, you should be so, so, so excited and grateful that you don't know any other way. And so your opportunity for success is just that much more. You're going to be that much more ahead of the game, because you have no negativity clouding your thoughts and your judgment. So really, really excited for them. So, and I'm telling you, I tell this to you guys all the time, that Real Estate Talk for Women group has people just waiting to get in. And I can tell you, all the new people that are coming into the industry, it's going to continue, because we have free enterprise in America, and we have an opportunity to make millions of dollars if we want to, and I don't know any other profession like ours. I'm 100% grateful for it. That's for sure. So I hope you see your licenses are worth more this year as you renew them than they ever have been. Maybe someday they're going to make, isn't it in Canada that you have to have a 2-year degree? 2 year.
You have to have, you have to have degree in finance.
Right, you have to have a degree. So here we live in the United States where we can go and take a class for however many weeks and we're licensed, we can sell millions of dollars.
Yep.
And that's the scary part. But that's why I created this group, is so that we can teach you quickly and we can help you have a resource that you can tap into, because I don't know about you, I can't always get a hold of my broker either. They don't always have time for just me and to sit down and go through individual things with me. So I love that the resources here in the group, as people post their questions and they're maybe not as savvy, or maybe they haven't been in the business, that they're not coming back going, oh, listen, you don't know anything, you haven't been in the bit. I'm so appreciative of the way that everyone is giving everyone grace. That really is the word of the day for me, for all of you, is give yourself grace to figure this out, and trust the process and trust yourself that you'll find a way to navigate through it. And if you can't, lean into the people who help you, lean into your mentors, your coaches, your brokers, your team leads, like whatever it is that you have at your brokerage. And demand their time, demand their attention. You pay a cap, everybody does. I don't care if it's $500 or if it's $27,000. I don't care what your cap is. You pay for it, so ask for it. Our brokers now more than ever are going to be having to step up and really put their leadership caps on to help navigate their brokerages. So
That's right.
should we take some questions? Anyone have any questions? I'm not really good in the chat, so and if you're not a fast typer, why don't you just unmute your mic? It's easy.
I mean, I was just looking at some of those in the chat earlier, but yeah, some people, Lynn in here is saying we'll have to have conversations with our brokers since they agree to cooperate amount on each listing. That's an interesting point.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Yeah, your broker who has been able to set the commission standard, right, is probably going to have to make some adjustments. That is an interesting thing. I just had that come up recently with my state broker about, because they want us to be uniform across the board.
Yeah.
Yes. Hi, Lynn. You
Yeah.
have a question. She's so
Hi.
polite. She's got her hand up.
I don't know how to do. I don't even know how to do that.
I was just thinking on the aspect of when you're negotiating and, an agent's calling and saying, or they're presenting an offer and it's a variable, it depends on what the offer is as to what the commission is that you want to present, but you have to think about that ahead of time in your listing contract and talk to your broker saying we want to offer between 2 to 3% based on depending on what the offer is. So the wording of that listing contract may take a new have a new look to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is that what you think?
I think it's open for that. I mean, the way that ours read right now, ours just changed, I don't know, 2-3 years ago. Nicole, you might be able to tell me that, whether or not it was, I can't remember how early it was that it changed, but ours directly separated out, the listing side is here and the buy side is here, where before, to Michelle's point, it was just a solid 5 or a solid 6%. And everyone understands, and for people who are watching that aren't part of this, so everyone understands, as us as a listing agent could give ourselves a 3% commission and only offer compensation on the buy side at 2%. Say you took a 5%, and that hurts them as a seller. It was hurting the sellers, which is part of the dispute. Is it was hurting them as a seller, because now up to market, all of our listings were on there, and they would say, "Oh, that's a 2%, that's a 3%, that's a," and of course, we're human nature. Agents want to show everything that their clients want, but at the end of the day, what your commission is before you walk in the door. That's what the dispute is all about. It just was unfair, which I completely agree. I completely agree with that part. I love that they don't have to know what it is. It's none of their business. We should sell the home to them regardless. I agree with that. But now it's going to put the pushback on the brokerages, because they own our contracts. You're right, Lynn, to see how they want to move forward. But that's why I like the language a bit more, that if I can get compensation up to 3%. And then when the offers come over, that's when we're in negotiations. Everything's negotiable. It just is. And so I think it's really too great. And I don't know if that's how it's going to roll out. I don't know. We'll see. Like, it's just a we'll see kind of a thing. But I also love the fact that in the peak of the market, raise your hand if this was you took your clients to a builder and they're like, we're not offering a 3%. We're just offering a flat fee on a $550,000 home of $5,000. Anyone have that happen to them? You got to be out of your freaking mind. Do you know what we go through as a buyer's agent trying to navigate a 6 to 8 month process in a build job? You know, and if you think I'm just going to hand my clients over and say, here you go, like, good job, I'll see you at closing, like, you're wrong. I want to know about the, you know, your 4-way inspection. I want to know about the walkthrough. I'm going to be present for this. That all is my time, and I'm protecting their interests. It's my fiduciary obligation. I keep using that word because I'm a professional. I am not just a realtor that is just a flyby. I am not a flash in the pan. You know, so I love the fact that it's really going to put some pressure on even new construction to be like, listen, like, we're going to pay the people who are bringing our clients here. And then guess what? They're going to expect that you be a part of the process, whether or not they like that or not. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. I just think as a whole, I know as a whole, we're always going to get better because of things that are imposed on us. It's fine. We'll find a way, but it only makes our industry stronger. And it only makes it so that meetings like this, for us to band together and have conversations about it, and how we're going to conduct and move through as the industry. I feel like I have an obligation with just a small little platform of 60,000 people. I couldn't imagine being, you know, a KW owner or a EXP owner. I can't even imagine the feeling of obligation they do, which is why, to your point, Michelle, I didn't speak immediately after this either, is because I needed a few days to like, I did nothing but homework on this all day, all week, really.
Yep.
Just so I could hear the conversation, so I knew how to best support you, because I know how I'm going to move forward. I just needed to know what the conversations were going to be about moving forward. I think,
Yeah.
Ashley says, I think this made a lot of people jump to the negativity instead of realizing this is actually a huge opportunity to show up. Yep. So back to the drawing board is a good thing. And many of us, me included, 100%. Like, Ashley and I have talked quite a bit about how we're going to realign our businesses, how we are going to revamp. I'm looking at a lot of different things, and I think a lot of agents are too, as to how we're going to put these presentations in place. How will we present them? What are we going to do with our business to protect ourselves? You know, there's lots of things that making calls to our attorneys, making calls to our tax people, you know, just trying to get as much data and information as we possibly can to make the best decisions that we can for ourselves as realtors in the profession moving forward. So
Yeah.
it's really exciting. I think like, we're definitely in a time in real estate where we're putting our mark on. This is changing our entire industry, and I feel really, really proud and really grateful that I get to have a small piece of it and be a part of it and be that one that's going to have success. You know, I wrote in my post, I've resolved, I'm going to be in the business and I'm going to be successful. And I hope that you make that resolution for yourself as well.
That's exactly it.
Very good. I know Michelle has a meeting in 1 minute, so I'm gonna look at Jane's. I'm in
I
North
do. I
Carolina.
just told my husband I could run over like a minute or two. He's gonna
Oh,
kick it
good.
off.
Okay. I listened to another webinar a few days ago. The host stated that we better be offering the same buyer agent fee to every agent showing our listings. We're also not able to include commissions on our offer to purchase, so we have always had another form that was used, we think, may be used to enforce the agreed upon commission when showing our listings. I'm not sure if negotiating differently on the same listing with different agents will be allowed. Have you heard they will be? No, I think that's something that's just up in the air, right? Like, it's going to be what's going to be interesting in the conversations. And that's why it's important to go back to that website that I gave you the link for. I'll put it in the replay that I posted in the group so that you guys can all navigate there to get the updates, to really get it straight from the mouth. Like, don't
stay tuned for those changes, because I do think, I mean, we have the same thing in Michigan. Like, even if you're charging a transaction fee, our state brokers say you must be consistent across the board because of fair housing. You can't say, oh, this person charged me less or they charge me more because I'm disabled or because I'm, you know, Chinese or whatever, right? Like, you can't do that. And so I think that that's going to be this is going to be a very interesting plot twist when it comes to fair housing, because now everything is going to be negotiable. Yeah. So, you know, we have partners in the Dominican Republic, and they do not have exclusive listings in the Dominican Republic. At first I heard it, I was like, my mind was blown. They have to negotiate their commission on every single deal. And you know, one real estate agent could be making more than the next offer that comes in. Everything is up for negotiation. So this is definitely a watch and wait, and to learn how we're going to be handling this across the board.
Yeah. And if all else fails and you have a question, run it by your broker. And if you don't like that answer, call the brokerage or call your association's attorney. I'm sure their numbers are going to be blowing up.
Oh, yeah.
But you
Yeah.
know, if all else fails, I'm not going to lose my license over this. It's my
No.
livelihood, as I'm sure it is everyone else's. I take my job extremely serious, as I think everybody should and does. But really, the opportunity, you know, making sure that we follow the rules, but you know, it's going to be interesting to see what happens. And I really, hopefully everyone tunes in, and I'll do automatic updates as I get them in the group, but I'm always going to link back to the source, because you're never going to hear it come out of my mouth unless I saw it off of that specific website. Because I won't regurgitate, you know, what others are speculating. It's not in my best interest, and I'm certainly not going to teach you that way either. Let's see, what else? Questions? I'm really excited to kind of continue the discussion, but I really, you know, if you have questions or concerns, or you're nervous to email, to say anything in the group, I'm going to put my email in the chat, showupnikib@gmail.com. If you email me and you want to just have a conversation, I can give you my Calendly appointment. I'm happy to do a one-on-one with you for 30 minutes if you want to chat about it. This is the time when, you know, if you need a mindset check or you need a rah gal, I'm your rah gal. Like, this is what we do. But really, really excited. And thank you so much, Michelle. Like, you're the absolute best. Like, I was like, how am I going to do this by myself? No one wants to just sit there and listen to me talk. That's boring. Like, I want someone else's perspective.
There was like 3 pages of people who were willing to listen to you talk. So
Oh, nice. I know, but I really just hope that the Real Estate Talk for Women group is amazing. And I think the more that we continue to have these conversations, as you go on your listing appointments and the questions arise, man, post it in the group and say, they came up with this one and this was my rebuttal. Like, I love that, because guess what? We learn from each other. And while everyone has a different script, everyone has a different shtick for their business, you may take a piece from it and you might, you know, implement it into your own business. And it's all about sharing in this industry. I'm not your competition and you are not mine. Even for the ones that are in my market that are on here. I saw Cherie Fisk on here, you know, one of my agents that's in my network, and I adore her. Like, she is not my competition. I'll directly coach her. I don't care. We're different people, but we definitely can help each other as a whole. So I'm going to be putting this as soon as I can. I'm going to download it right now when we get done, and I'll put it up in the group. I'll pin it to the top. So if you were on this class and you liked it, please go to the group and give a like on it. You know what's weird is I can't see all of you in my Facebook group. It's so dumb that I actually started the group, yet when I email or when I post in there, you can't see my posts. It's the most frustrating freaking thing on the planet. Like, what
stay
the heck am I here
positive.
for?
Stay positive, Nikki. Stay positive. All right.
What am I here for? I know that's another thing for Facebook. But anyways, I appreciate all of you for being on here. If you have questions, feel free to independently message me. I'm happy to help. Okay.
Thank you, ladies.
Love you. Thanks.
All right. Bye.
Thanks. Oh, I love you, Carrie. I'm the worst at spelling. If you know me, you know I'm always messing up. You should have seen what I did last week. Oh, bless my heart. So thank you. Canva doesn't have a very good spell checker. So thank you. You're the best. Thank you. See you all. Have a great
You're welcome.
Have a great weekend. You're awesome. Thanks, Carrie.
Thanks.